Hey, for those of you in eastern North Carolina, South Carolina, recovering from Hurricane Florence, I tell people it could have been a lot worse. But we took a little bit of a hit here. Took some damage on the property, and you know, just enough damage to piss you off for a Category 1, Category 2 storm. What's up, kitty? You're on TV. So I noticed recently that a lot of YouTube channels have a introductory video where they kind of state the mission statement of the channel. I think I did that a while ago, but it's probably a good time to update. I am a concealed carry instructor for the state of North Carolina. Certified in the use of deadly force, instructing the course that is required by law in the state of North Carolina. I tell people that they restrict your Second Amendment in this state, meaning that it's not constitutional carry. The course is an 8-hour course, and there is a live fire portion as well. I've taught about 600 people. I have to check my records, but I've been doing it for about 3 years now. About a year and a half ago, I got out of the Marine Corps. I did 8 years as an 0311 infantryman. Did 2 combat deployments to Afghanistan, and I'm proud of that. But I don't think it should define, who I am. The concealed carry aspect of being a gunfighter is a skill set that is separate than the skills you learn on the battlefield. But obviously, there's a lot of similarities. There's a lot of things that join between the two. Either way, it's a fight, and my mission as an instructor is to make you better prepared for a lethal encounter. I hope that you get something out of my videos. My videos are not professional quality. I do my videos off of a cell phone. And, someday I'll probably upgrade and get a better camera and all that. But, I don't profess to be an expert. There's no way that I could profess that. There's a lot of people that I've served with that could probably teach this better than I. A couple of people come to mind that have a lot more experience when it comes to lethal encounters and all of that. On the other hand, I'm very, very passionate about this shit. And my mission, like I mentioned, is to make you better prepared for a lethal encounter. What happens to your body when you're in fight mode? How to be in a proper combat mindset. Those things are infinitely more important than what kind of gear you carry or what kind of weapon you carry. And these are topics that I get into quite a bit. So, that being said, I appreciate the subscriptions and the comments and all of that. I hope that maybe some of you could take a class. I know a lot of you out there have already taken a class with me. I do offer additional training, private instruction, and advanced gunfighter clinics. Whether that's a home defense gun, a truck gun, or you just want to get better with the handgun. So this past 14 days have been pretty interesting here in eastern North Carolina with Hurricane Florence coming around, and I was faced with a dilemma of whether or not I was going to stay in the area and dig in, or if I was going to evacuate. And being that we're only 10 miles away from the coast, and the storm was headed pretty close to where we're at, It made landfall probably 45 miles south of here. I made the decision to evacuate my family, and I've got small children and quite a bit of livestock here on the homestead and all of that. So it was a tough decision to make. Excuse me. And we made that decision and evacuated to Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and came back about 5 days later after the roads finally cleared up, because it was a nightmare with the flooding. I think that the media hyped up the hurricane a little bit more than how bad it really was. But the flooding was absolutely not hyped. The lowlands of eastern North Carolina are very conducive to flooding conditions. So as I was preparing to exit and to leave the homestead, I had to make a decision. Hey, what guns in my arsenal am I going to have to leave behind, and which ones would I take with me? And this was a tough call because, like most Americans, I've accumulated a collection of hunting arms and weapons of all kind. And that's a big belief of mine, is that every gun that we own is a weapon. Every gun that we own could be pressed into service, no matter how antiquated it could be. And, just for instance, this above me is a Marlin model 336 3030. And a lot of people might look at that and say, oh, that's a deer rifle. Yeah, it can be a deer rifle, but it can also be a combat rifle. So I had to make that decision, and I'll show you a few of the guns that I decided to take with me. Now right here is pretty much my bread and butter. Bread and butter being 12 gauge pump action shotgun and a couple of 357 Magnum revolvers, an L-frame 686 plus 7-shot, and a Model 66 K-frame 6-shot. Alright, as you can see, I've got a concealed holster for it. I've got a outside the waistband, I've got a speed loader carrier, all of that. These are the best weapons to have, in my opinion, because of the simplicity, the reliability, the durability, and the versatility, for lack of better terms. Now, everybody has got different preferences and what they like to shoot and what they are comfortable with. But for me, a good, solid 357 Magnum, okay, and a pump action shotgun, to me, are bread and butter. Bread and butter. A pump action shotgun can do it all. I can put meat on the table. I can defend my homestead. The versatility of rounds that I can put in that weapon are, more than I can name in this video. Whether it's a light bird shot or a double-aught buck for defense or a slug, if I want to engage something a little bit further, up to 150 yards away effectively with no sights, with the bead sight. And then the same thing with the revolver, very versatile. Okay, it's probably the most tactical weapon. If you think about it, I don't need a magazine. I can put rounds in my pocket and go. So that being said, you may see me do a lot of videos here with these antiquated weapons. These are very similar to what you might find police officers carrying in the 1980s up into the early 90s. Cops had, I know for a fact, North Carolina state troopers carried a Model 686 up until 1988. This is a 7-shot, newer gun, but this was the bread and butter for a lot of cops back in the 80s and late 80s. And South Carolina state troopers were carrying a Model 66 up until 1992 or 93. So It's kind of a lost art, how to run a wheel gun, and running a pump action shotgun is something that takes a lot of training also. So I think in the upcoming videos I am going to be doing a little bit more with these two platforms, if I haven't already been. This is a lot of what I do is revolver videos. But I think that, you know, semi-automatic rifles, semi-automatic pistols are pretty, you know, for all intents and purposes, they're very easy to use. It's very difficult to miss your target with a Glock 19, I think. I think an M4 style carbine is something you can hand to your spouse or your kids, and they're going to run that weapon effectively. So they're great guns, don't get me wrong, but it takes skill, it takes a little bit more trigger discipline and you know, ability to reload under stress. All of these things is something that needs to be practiced a little bit more with a revolver. So I like the challenge. I prefer it. I carry a wheel gun all the time, and usually it's in a configuration of a 4-inch barrel, and that way I get the maximum velocity I can out of these rounds, and that's a 125 grain Federal, or for instance a Remington semi-jacketed 125 grain. So I hope you all get something from the videos, and I probably will get into politics a little bit too. Some of you may not want that or like that, but everything in our society today is political. Everything is a fight. The Second Amendment is constantly under attack, but a lot of gun people fail to acknowledge that it's not just the Second Amendment, it's all of our rights in the Constitution. It's our form of government the founders left us and framed for us that's under attack. Our republic is under attack. So I hope you all will pay attention to the real news. I constantly harp on checking out Alex Jones and Infowars.com. Oh, but that guy's a kook. He's a crazy. He's, you know, a conspiracy theorist and all that. Yeah, okay. Just give him a shot. Listen to him. What he's saying is the truth. Yeah, he may be a little bit bombastic in his delivery, but I mean, when they say tomorrow's news today, it's a real thing. And the fact that he's been deplatformed by these tech companies, and the Democrat Party's trying to destroy him like they're trying to destroy Donald Trump, should tell us something. So before I let this video run out too long, thanks for watching, and I'll probably see you guys pretty soon with another video. Semper Fi.